Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time and I've missed you all, but let's do our Pokemon Sleep stuff. It is Monday. It's also Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgivings to all of you Canadians out there who are celebrating. I don't really necessarily have any plans for Thanksgivings today, but I do have plans later in the evening, so I'm looking forward to that. And our Snorlax got 12 hours and 12 minutes of sleep. I don't get that much sleep, but I always put my Snorlax to sleep before me and I let him sleep a little more after me as well. There has been several events and new Pokemon that have been released since we've been apart. I've also catched some shiny Pokemon, but in terms of anything like groundbreaking to show you guys in Pokemon, I don't have that. Also, in terms of the events, I wasn't able to fully enjoy the events too, just because of what I was going through in life. I did participate, I did still continue to play the game, but like for example, the legendary dog events, the rerun, but this time you get to encounter all three. I was able to catch a Suicune, I think, and I think I tried to attempt on catching a Raikou, but yeah, I just didn't do the most that I could for those events. So there's that. I did purchase a lot of incenses and seeds in the shop during those events, but I mean, nothing interesting when it came to what legendaries I've caught. And then the psychic birds came out too, but I didn't catch. I think I only caught one during the end of the event. Let's see, is there anything here that I want? Honestly, there's nothing really, so I'm just going to give the biscuit to Caterpie over here who is hungry, and that will be it. There were also other events, which by now I kind of forgot, but oh, I tried expert mode. That was really tough and very humbling experience. But as you can see, I was at Old Gold Power Plant for the week that just passed. And I think for this week, I will maybe go to Lapis Lakeside. You know, it's been a minute since we've been to Lapis Lakeside, and I like how serene and cozy the vibes are. So I think we shall be going there. Let's take a look at what our Caterpie is looking like. And yeah, it is a berry finding Pokemon, but the stats there are nothing too impressive. So we're just going to quickly move along. All right, so let's choose our next campsite. And I want to know, where are you guys headed this week? For me, I'm going to go to the serene and tranquil Lapis Lakeside. First things first though, weekly summary. We've played this game for 117 weeks and Master 19. Oh, I broke a personal best. Sorry, not Master 19. Master 9, we reached a new personal best for Old Gold Power Plant, which is really nice. And oh my gosh, I finally got an S grade. My sleep has just been so bad for the past couple weeks that I've been getting really bad grades for that. But we are going to go to Lapis Lakeside. It's so beautiful. Look at the stock flowers there too. Oh, there's a new sound. Hopefully this doesn't break my game. Sometimes when I have to download new sound, it just like the sound volume goes kind of crazy. All right, let's see what Snorlax wants. Is it dessert? It's dessert. Okay, good, because I was kind of preparing for the event that it would be desserts, which is why last night I had some dessert finding ingredient Pokemon out, but then overnight I took out my Big Tasty team. So let's see, Dedenne number 1 triggered. Dedenne number 2, no, I ran out of space. Okay, let's see. Perfect, we got a pot expand. Let's see if Ditto transforms, and it's going to be a Dedenne. It's a Dedenne. Okay. And now my Magnezone. Oh, it didn't double trigger. Usually it double triggers. But I'm going to be able to make a bigger meal. And then let's pick up all that stuff later. But let's see, what are we going to make? Clodsire Eclair? We can make a Clodsire Eclair. And let's put one leek in there as a green garnish. Pretend it's a mint or something. But summer in terms of the events in game have been pretty eventful. Summer in my life has been pretty crazy and hectic too, and I'm currently going through a very big life transition in terms of where I am in life and events that led me to my situation right now. So as you guys can see, I'm in an entirely new environment. I'm actually back in Canada. I moved back here and it was a lot to go through in terms of what I was going through emotionally, and then the logistics of gathering all my stuff and moving back here, figuring out where to live because my mom's place just has no more room. So I was living out of like packing cases and boxes, but even then there was like no space in her house for me to unpack or put my stuff around. So I really had to unpack like the essentials of what I needed. So that has happened. And you know what? I would hate to be that person that is like talks around the topic but doesn't outright say it, because I know how annoying that could come off. But yeah, I am no longer in a relationship. So that is probably the elephant in the room, alongside the fact that I moved. I think many of you guys probably have noticed it just because you realize that I was back in Canada. But yeah, I'm gonna be so real with you guys. It was a really tough period of my life, and I think it's normal to honor the fact that it was a tough period just due to how intertwined our lives were. I think the hardest part was definitely grieving the person, but also grieving the future that you had together. So it's like you're grieving someone who is still alive and things just couldn't work out. And I remember when I had to tell, actually before I get into that, keeping the traditions real from back before I moved to Singapore, and my beverage of choice whenever we were filming. I'm back in Canada, so I got my matcha set. So we got a lovely matcha. I'm gonna mix it up. But how gorgeous is this color? All right, here it is all mixed up. It's looking a lot more vibrant and green. But cheers everyone to new beginnings. And for any of you guys who are also going through the transitions of life or a new season in your life, I hope you know that you got this. It's moments in life where you have to remind yourself that although you can't control how people treat you, you can definitely control how you react to it. So cheers to that. It is so nice to be able to make matcha at home again. I know I've been on a coffee kick for like a very long time. And don't get me wrong, I do have an espresso machine that I bought when I moved into this new place. And I was so happy because even though things were going so just downhill in my life and I really felt like I've hit a rock bottom at 31, there's just been so many new opportunities and doors that have opened. And it's funny how things just worked out so seamlessly in my favor moving forward during such a period of life where I felt extremely miserable and sad and not in the mood to do anything. But my Nespresso machine, there was a 40% off sale, and during my research and everything, I found out that Nespresso typically does like 30% off sales, but this was a back to school promo sale, so it was 40% off. So I paid like no more than $116 for the machine. So that was a win for me. But going back to what I was saying, and actually I want to preface this by saying that when I share this with you guys, I'm coming from the mindset where throughout these 2 years of doing videos and talking with you guys, one of the things you guys said that you really enjoy about my videos is the fact that you feel like you're FaceTiming a friend. And I also think that it is the fact that I'm so openly vulnerable and transparent of what is going on in my life. It makes it easier for you to relate in some way if you're going through the same thing. I do that on purpose in terms of sharing with you guys what I'm going through, because I think it's so important to have discussions around things about feelings and what you're going through, because sometimes people just don't have the resources in order to grow emotionally and also break down life experiences that will just get you out of that situation with more wisdom instead of bitterness, so you don't grow so jaded in life, you know? And that is a sort of mindset that I have, but I mean, growing up it wasn't always this way, you know? Oh my gosh, Chrissy, congrats on your golden nugget there. But yeah, going back to the situation, one of the hardest moments was having to tell my mom. It definitely got to my mom's not a nosy person, so she's not going to be all up in my business and straight out ask me, but I'm pretty sure she was like why is my daughter just keeping herself in her room while she's visiting here on vacation? Like, what's going on, right? So I was planning for days on how to tell my mom, because it just brought me so much anxiety, and I didn't want to cry in front of her. I have this weird thing about crying in front of family, but I don't know, it's like I can be vulnerable around you guys and my friends, but it's just so hard for me to be vulnerable with my family, that like they are the one people that it's just so hard for me to break down in front of or show emotion in front of. So for a couple days I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell my mom? There's also another wedding that we were supposed to go to, but with things going on, like obviously we can't go, and I'm not in the right mindset to show up to a wedding with what I'm feeling. So the day before the wedding, which I know is like the worst thing you could do, but they're family, so I think they were understanding. But I told my mom, like, hey mom, we're not going to the wedding, and I don't know if that's a shiny, but yeah, I told her we're not going to the wedding because we're not together anymore. Oh my god, Fabian, congrats on the shiny Pikachu. Her initial reaction was, it's funny. I mean, she's a mom, right? She's always gonna like look out for the best interest of her kids. Her first reaction was, did he cheat? And I'm like, oh my god, mom. And then I explained to her what happened, and she basically just told me to stay in Canada. And I cried. It was hard not to cry, but I cried. And then she was like, she told me I'll be okay, and she was like, take care of yourself, okay? So I was like, yeah. And then I went to take a shower, and when I finished taking a shower, I came outside and she called my name, and she was like, are you okay? And I just started bawling. And I was like, no, I'm not okay because I'm so sad. And she was just telling me, like, don't worry about it too much, and that I'm gonna be okay, and to take care of myself. So I was like, yeah. And then a couple days passed, or yeah, I told my mom like 2 days before the wedding had to happen, but 2 days later it was my uncle's wedding, and she asked me to help her with hair and makeup. So obviously I helped her with hair and makeup while I was crying, because like I was still going through it. And we shared a very touching moment where she shared with me her heartbreak in the past. And that was so tough because I felt like I could really relate in that moment, and also the vulnerability that she was willing to show me in order to just like let me know that she's there for me and that she knows what I'm going through. Like, that just meant so much to me, you know? Like, we really shared such a vulnerable moment, and I think that was one of the first times in my life where my mom has opened up about something privately about herself, because she usually doesn't do that. She always keeps things in, and she doesn't communicate things as well, which is so different from me, who communicates things, and I talk a lot about my experiences. So for her to take that moment to just be vulnerable and open up with me, I just felt like, wow, I love this moment for us right now. And then I got so emotional doing her hair, because it made me think of like the view she must have seen when we were both growing up, and she would be the one like combing my hair and putting my hair all together for school. And now here I am, being the person seeing the back of her head, combing her hair and doing her hair all pretty. In that moment I thought like, wow, how beautiful is life for things to go like in circles like that. Yeah, that was a very touching and heartfelt moment that we shared together. When I initially told my mom, my little sister came out of her room later. I had to tell her that I had to cancel a plan with her because of what I was going through and how I just wasn't really in the right mindset. And then I started crying. And then she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And then she was like, do you want a hug? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I do want a hug. And I think my mom told my siblings later, because then one of my brothers came downstairs to check up on me, and he was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And he's like, do you want to talk about it? And I was like, no, not right now, but thank you. When I moved out, my other brother was about to drive me, but then the moving people were so nice. They offered me a lift there so that I could save on like transport fees of using an Uber. And when I was saying bye to my brother, he was looking at me and he was like, are you okay? Because like I was just going through so much and like reliving certain feelings, because it felt like the finality of things, having all my things in my mom's place, and then all of my moving boxes stuff, and I'm moving into a new place. So I was just like really going through it, okay? And I was crying, and my other brother was like, are you okay? Why are you crying? And I'm like, I'm just still not over the breakup. And then he was like, do you want a hug? And I was like, yeah. And he gave me the kind of hug where he's like patting me on the back. And I think those experiences with my family have really taught me something so valuable. Because as I mentioned with you guys, if you're a longtime viewer, is that my family has never been one to really show emotion, especially physical comfort in periods of difficult emotion. The way I've seen my family show up for me in this moment was something I never would have expected. And I just feel so thankful that I never once had to tell them how to meet me where I needed them to meet me, or how to comfort me, you know? they didn't look at my tears and get uncomfortable and be like, oh, she's crying, like, what do I do? Instead, they asked me, like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Do you need a hug? And even though we've never done that for each other in the past, it has shown me how everyone has grown so much to undo certain patterns in order to better show up for each other, you know? So I just felt so thankful, and I'm like, how lucky I am to have friends and family who are mending a broken heart that they did not break. You know what I mean? It made it even harder to leave home because I felt like they were really my comfort people for the past month. But at the same time, there was just like no space. So as much as I loved being back at home and experiencing Remy and the new kitten that my mom got, Susu, just was not a place that I was able to start anew in. And also I remember during my first week when everything was happening, I felt like I needed to be babysat, you know, like I constantly had people checking up on me. My mom was constantly telling me to like eat and to not forget to take care of myself. I had my best friend make me send pictures of whether or not I was eating as well. And I just felt so much love from every corner of my life. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend the other day and I was telling him like, how lucky am I to have such great people in my life? And he was like, well, it's not really down to luck. Like luck may bring people in your life, but it's who you are as a person that keeps those people, like you attract who you are basically. And I realized like I don't really give myself enough credit. Maybe because I don't see myself that way. I took a moment, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm freaking awesome. I'm so kind and so empathetic, and it really shows in the type of people that are friends with me and who have showed up for me in this moment. Like my cousin, during that first week, she would hit me up and ask me like, do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? No pressure, like just a little moment to take you out of the house so that you get some fresh air and get your mind off things. And I appreciated that so much. And then my other best friend, who had just gotten married, and with the Air Canada strike and everything, like she wasn't sure if she was gonna fly to her honeymoon, but she did. And even though she was going through all that, she still took the time to show up for me, call me, message me every day, and just like be there for me. And I've had friends just show up to my house and just comfort me in that moment without me having to ask them. And I'm the type of person where it's so hard for me to ask for help because I just grew up thinking I could do it on my own, you know, I could figure it out on my own, I can do it on my own, and I don't want to ask for help. But in that moment, it really took a village, and I didn't even need to ask for the help for people to show up for help. And I am always going to remember this moment in my life where I felt like I was at the rock bottom. But despite that, both can be true, where I felt like I was at the rock bottom, but how blessed am I in life to have such amazing people who care so much about me. And also to you viewers, because I've had some people who messaged me or DM'd me just like, and the thing is, you guys are like, you're not prying either. You're so respectful about it, and you're like, hey, I just hope you're doing well. And those messages just meant so much for me because it really humanized me, and it made me realize you guys see me more than just a person that does like Pokemon Sleep stuff on the internet. And it takes genuine care, you know, because if you didn't care, you wouldn't go out of your way to send a message like that too. So I love and appreciate you guys who did that. And yeah, fast forward now, I'm in my new place. The first day I was here, I was just an emotional wreck. I sobbed, I cried, and then I built my IKEA stuff. And I could have also asked for help building stuff, but I mean, it's like adult Legos. It was so therapeutic to just build everything on my own and see the place slowly come together. So I can't wait to show you guys, and I can't wait to just fill it up with my favorite things. It is very barren and empty for now, but I can't wait to add some warmth to the house and just make it a reflection of everything I like. In terms of the transition, I miss Singapore more than I thought I would, just because it's so clean and efficient and everything. But I do miss the culture here in terms of how people are and how easy it is to do small talk. I love that I have family and friends here. I love that there's something to look forward to with the 4 seasons that we experience in Canada, and transitioning from summer to fall during this period of my life has been cathartic in some ways and comforting in others. So as we go on in the colder months, as fall slowly becomes winter and things get colder, I'm looking forward to just feeling the warmth of this house and just the warmth of the people around me as well. I was actually at my cousin's place yesterday, and I was so touched because before I went home, they prepared like a goodie bag for me to take home of like snacks, drinks, noodles, and I just felt so loved and taken care of. Like they were not gonna let me go home hungry. And then my cousin drove me home, and she brought me to a grocery store before dropping me off, and I was able to grab some more groceries so that I can cook for myself here. It feels so great to be cooking again. I'm so glad I kept all of my kitchenware and cookware, so making meals for myself has been very rewarding. At the Asian grocery mart yesterday, I found chicken feet, and they were so cheap. Like, I don't know how come they're so cheap now. So I got 2 packs, they're in the freezer, but I'm so excited to make my chicken bone broth again because that is so healthy. Good for the body, good for the gut. I have 2 ripe bananas that I have sitting on my counter because I want them to get like super ripe, because I want to make banana brown sugar syrup to add into my matcha and coffee, because that is kind of like the craze right now in the drink world. So I got brown sugar yesterday, and I'm really looking forward to making that as well. I also have frozen blueberries so that I can make some blueberry syrup and also add them to my smoothies. And if you guys are keeping up to date with me on Instagram and TikTok, then you would have already seen the progress I've made with my home, building my bed, my desk setup, and I'm slowly starting to take that content and put that onto YouTube. So you may or may not have seen it, but check out my shorts if you want to stay in the loop of my progress and my moving back to Canada journey. Oh, also, Pokemon ZA comes out this Thursday, so are you guys excited? Definitely something to look forward to in the Pokemon community. And are you guys gonna play? I was thinking about streaming again back on Twitch since this new game is coming out. I'm like, you know what? Now that I'm in this new stage in my life, I'm going to embrace any and every opportunity that comes my way, but also actively seek out those opportunities as well. So I'm very excited to see what kind of doors open up for me and where life takes me from this moment on. If you were to ask me, do I still believe in love, or would I go into a relationship again given all the feelings that I had to go through? I would say yeah. I would say it was all worth it because I've learned so much about myself and I've grew so much. I feel like sometimes you can do so much independent work when you're single, but things truly will not show up until you're in a relationship and things start to trigger you and you see sides of yourself that you ultimately will not see unless you're in a relationship. And I'm so thankful to have been able to reflect so much during the relationship and after the relationship to see how I showed up, how much I've grown, and how I've coped post-breakup, because I truly think the way you cope post-breakup says so much about you. Some people say that the only way over someone is under someone. I think that is avoidant, immature, attention-seeky, and someone who shows signs of not being able to sit in their discomfort and just wants instant gratification. For me, I'm more on the side of the only way to get over something is through something. So I took the past 2 months to truly just, or almost 2 months, to truly just sit and reflect and find some sort of peace with what I was going through instead of seeking gratification or validation through someone else to soothe my hurt, because I kind of find that very immature and also doesn't help you in the long run, because there's this one quote, anywhere you go, there you are. You can run away from your problems in a different country, but those things will always catch up to you, and unless you're willing to put in the work to really go through it, you're never going to find peace with yourself. So I'm really glad for how I showed up for myself post breakup, because I've seen so much growth in how I cope with things and certain habits that I have successfully ditched that I may have engaged in the past that didn't help me, but this time I really took a healthy approach to it. And I've had friends tell me that they notice it too, and they're like, you're just so different this breakup than you were other breakups. I also think it's due to the fact that I am older and I have more life experience, but like I said, unless you're truly putting in the work to be a little self-aware about your situation and how you show up, those things just don't come naturally. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just feel very proud about myself and how I've been handling things. And it's not to say that I don't still feel sad. I think it's so natural to feel sad. But I am happy that I'm in a place now in my mindset where I allow myself to feel excited and to look forward to certain things. compared to before where I just wanted to like wallow in my sadness, which isn't a bad thing. I think me giving myself that 1 to 2 week to like be bedridden and just be sad and cry it all out was really what I needed, because had I held in what I wanted to feel and express, it wouldn't have been good for me in the long run. Holding in stress and negative emotions is really not good for you. And if you're not able to confront them head on, you're gonna make such irrational decisions for yourself that just put you in very unfavorable situations. Like everything in life is a choice. So I was sad, but now I'm choosing to make myself happy and to look forward to things. Because ultimately, life is gonna move on with or without you. And I've come to the point where I'm like, I gotta move on with life too. So that means doing hobbies again, seeing more friends and family, trying out new things, re-exploring new things. Like for example, the last time I did Twitch was in 2019, but now with the new Pokemon game coming out, I want to stream again. I want to do it again. It makes me a little anxious and scared to be back on Twitch or to just stream in general, because streaming is so different from, you know, recording and then editing and then posting. Like streaming is live, so I don't know how I'm going to show up or if I'm going to be entertaining enough. But you know what? Everything uncomfortable is just a moment for you to overcome something, you know? And if I don't give myself the opportunity to try, then I'm really robbing myself of life experiences. So I don't want to do that. I want to live life fully. I want to try everything. I want to do everything. And you know, this may be the last time that I'm ever going to be single again. So why not enjoy it and make the most out of it? Especially, I'm the first woman in my bloodline to have higher education, to be able to live on her own, not married, no kids. I'm 31, and at first I was like, oh my god, I'm 31 and I'm single. Like I'm a leftover woman in Asia. But then I'm like, why am I putting so much of my worth and value on whether or not I have kids or a husband? Because I have so much to look forward in life and I have so much ahead of me. Now I get to put me first. But also, I do want to recognize that grief is not a linear journey in your healing. There have been definitely moments where I just felt so sad and I felt like I could not get out of that hole of sadness. And then I have moments where I'm starting to feel a little better in life, where I'm starting to look forward to things. And then something might happen, maybe I might see something that reminds me of something, and it just sets me back and I feel so bad. In that moment I feel so bad because I feel like I've regressed, but then I tell myself like, no, this is the journey. You're gonna feel better, you're gonna have moments that set you back, but that's normal. You need to go through those moments in order to go through it. Like the only way over it is through it. So yeah, for those of you who are experiencing something different, I totally get it. Don't give yourself too much of a hard time. Take all the time you need to take care of yourself, and don't rob yourself of the moment or experience of taking care of yourself, being there for yourself, and just allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel. The worst piece of advice anyone can tell you is to hit the gym, meet up a new guy or girl, and just completely avoid the pains of life, because I mean, how different is that than being a toddler where all you want is all the joys and fun out of life, but you're gonna throw a tantrum when things don't work out your way, you know what I mean? Let yourself be sad, let yourself be angry, but let yourself be happy as well. And yeah, that is my ramble for today's video. I hope this helped some of you guys, but also explained to you guys what I've been going through. Thank you once again to everyone who has been sending me like such lovely messages of the fact that you're thinking of me or that you're hoping I'm doing okay. It really means more to me than you think. I hope you're excited like I am for all these new moments and opportunities that may happen for us. And thank you guys so much for experiencing all of the transitions in life with me for the past 2 years that I've been making Pokemon Sleep content. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. There are also membership tiers. There's 2 tiers, so if you have the means to, or you want to support the channel and use fun emojis and have like a cute little badge next to your name, I invite you to look at that. Check out my other social media links as well. And stay tuned for when we shall be doing Twitch. I'm also still thinking about what time makes the most sense, because I feel like most of my viewers are in PT time, but I'm EST, but I don't know. Let me know what times are ideal for you. And I will see you guys in the next video, so take care of yourself. Good luck and have fun. Bye.